Hello there, this is Obi-wan Kenobi here showing off a new saber I just finished installing. This is if you can't tell just by looking at it, is a Saberforge Bastion. This bad boy is installed with a Proffieboard version 2.2. It also has the stock PCBs. This is the Eco stock PCBs, not the stock PCB V3, I think it's called. But this is the Eco version, and I'll show that off real quick. So take a look in there. Even though it is Neopixel, it is still able to have lights on in there. So if you want a little blade plug in there, it'll still, shine through and look pretty good. So that is the model we're working with today. Just had this finished pretty recently. So let me actually plug a blade in here. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, got the blade nice and in there with the retention screw up near the emitter. It's about right here. Get a little closer there. It's right here. Just twist that with the good old Allen wrench, and then you'll be able to get that blade in there nice and tight. As you can see, pulling totally fine. So there we go, and then I'll turn on the saber. There it is. So this is, as I mentioned, Neopixel, so the blade goes up. Oops, a bit sensitive. I probably should bring up the clash sensitivity a bit, but the blade does go up and down, of course, like a natural lightsaber does. For this saber, it is like new. It's not quite 100% new. It is slightly used. You can't really see it on here. It's going to be a little hard to see it. I will try to bring it up to the camera, but I have a funny feeling the camera is going to not pick it up and not focus. I can already see right now it's not really focusing. That's okay. On the eBay listing down in the description below, you'll have some better pictures. I'll have some high quality pictures showing off little scratches and stuff like that are on the saber. It's not much, very little, just like tiny little scratches here and there. And if you can see it just by looking at it right now, you can't even see it. So like there's no scratches or anything like that. So yeah, very minor, very minor, but it is technically used. So I will list it as such. So there's that. And then there's also, of course, so it is a removable battery, as is the standard typically nowadays. So I will show you how to get the battery out of here. Give me 1 second. So we've got the pommel, of course. This just twists off. There you go. Twist that off. Even the chassis here is a bit unorthodox in how I make it come out and put back in. I'll show you in a second. I should just show you instead of trying to explain it. So as we've taken off the pommel here, you can see, I'll try to show it again. So you can see there's two little prongs almost. Those are actually just zip ties. And what you want to do is you want to pull on those zip ties, but make sure not to touch the speaker. That's very important. Try not to touch the speaker if you can, but just pull on the zip ties. And once you pull on the zip ties, it'll bring the chassis out just like so. So pull that out all the way. And then you've got your battery on the bottom, your soundboard on the top. Make sure not to touch the soundboard unless you want to remove the SD card. You can see the SD card there. A little blurry, of course, focus. The camera doesn't really feel like focusing, which, I expected as much. So there's the SD card. You can take some needle nose pliers or some forceps and then just pull that out. And that'll be good to go. You can make some edits or whatever you want. Proffieboard is open source, so you can, if you want the blade retention, excuse me, the blade retraction to be like slower, faster, that sort of thing. You can change that. You can put in your own sound fonts and whatnot. This will just have the basic default sound fonts because I don't have any personal sound fonts of my own. So this will just come with the default package, and you can put in whatever you want once you get your hands on it. So there's that. And there is the SD card that you can take out. And I took this out to show you how to take out the battery. That's important. So here is, try to get it on camera here. There's the battery. And you'll notice this little ribbon here that's going to help you out trying to get your battery out of the saber. And I'll show you. So you grab the ribbon, right? And I like to grab the ribbon with 2 fingers. And then with my middle finger, put it on the edge of this white, the white part of the chassis here. And then just pull. And then like so. There we go. And battery pops out. There you go. Do remember that the positive is towards the emitter, and then the negative here is towards the speaker. So be very mindful of that. On the battery holder, there is a little engraving that says positive up here, positive on the top, and then negative on the bottom. So you don't forget. That's very important. And another thing to remember is when you put the battery back in after you're done charging it or whatever, make sure to lay this ribbon down so that you can make it easier to get the battery out. And I'll do that right now. So lay it down like so, and then put the battery back in. 1 second. A little hard to get this on the camera, but I'll try. There we go, and there we go. You hear the boot sound, it's all good to go. So you just slap it back in there. Just very slowly slide it. Oh, and another thing to mention, when you do pull it out and put it in very slowly, if possible. You don't want to yank on it and then like break a wire or anything like that. So there we go. And when you're putting it in, let me put it in about that much, you'll notice these zip ties, as I mentioned previously, are here, and that's because you'll notice these little notches at the top. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Let me see here. So there is actually, I'm going to rotate the saber, make it easier for you guys. There it is. So on the top here, there's a little notch. Even though the camera's blurry, you can probably still see it. There's a little notch at the top. You want to make sure the zip ties are laying on top of those notches when you put it in. Otherwise, the chassis won't fit. So just make sure it's nice like that. And then push it in, and when you push it in, make sure that you're not pushing on these the top of the speaker here. Very important. You don't want to break your speaker or anything like that. So when you grab it and you push it in, make sure it is on the sides like so. A bit hard again, a bit hard to get on camera, but there we go. And then just push it in, bam, on the sides. 1 second. There we go. And then once you put it in, make sure it's either flush or a little past flush. That's what you're definitely looking for. Actually, move my camera a little higher here. That'll make things a little bit easier. There we go. So once it's flush or past flush, you get your pommel back. There you go. And then with the little zip ties, make sure they're flat. They don't point up. So once you put the pommel back in, you won't get that much resistance. You can already hear a little bit of resistance. I got to make sure it's flat, like I mentioned. There we go. It's a lot better. Then apply some force, twist. There you go. And then that should be good to go. Yep, already back in action. There you go. So there is that. And you would think with the zip ties in here in the back, you would think there might be a bit of rattling, but there actually isn't any rattling, as you can see. So I'm trying to move it around. I'll try to bring it up to the camera. You hear the clashes just fine, the swinging, all that jazz, but there's no rattling. I've done some, let me turn this off so you can hear me a bit better. I've done some testing with dueling, so it is duel worthy, 100% duel to your heart's content, and then also you won't hear any rattling during the dueling either. So you are good to go on that front. I made sure that that would be the case. So there's that, and as I mentioned previously, this will be sold on eBay, and there will be a link to that on the description below. And also, one little free thing, I've got a little bonus. There is, let's see if I can bring the camera up a bit more. So this is the little blade plug that's actually going to come with your saber. Just free, free of charge. I just wanted to throw it in there since this thing does come with the in-hilt stock eco PCBs that have the little lights or whatever when you turn it on, even without the blade. I figured I'd throw in a little blade plug, get you to show that off a little bit. Actually, let me do that right now. Give me 1 second. All right, so here it is, nice and installed with the little blade plug. I'm gonna turn it on, just like I mentioned earlier. Got the lights in there, so you are good to go, and it still looks good even without the blade. Check that out. Oh, I love that. That looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, that's why I'm including it. I think it looks super sick with that blade plug, so I'm including it in there free of charge. So hope you guys enjoyed that. That's gonna be it. The listing will be in the description below. For eBay, it'll be sold on eBay, and once it's sold, I'll update the title of this video to say, hey, this is sold or whatever. So for any future reviewers of this video that want to get their hands on this, I'm afraid it would be sold out once it says sold on the title. So anyway, that's going to be it. I'm blathering way too long here, so that's going to be it. Thanks again for taking a look at this saber, and thanks for watching.